You know that feeling. It usually strikes late at night. You are sitting on the edge of the bed, the house is quiet, or maybe you are just waking up and your ankle feels like it's on fire. You scratch it. You scratch it until the skin turns raw, maybe even until it bleeds, but the relief never comes. It feels like the itch is running away from your fingernails. That is because the itch isn't on your skin, it is underneath it. You have probably tried every lotion in the drugstore. You slather on creams, oils, expensive moisturizers, maybe even anti-itch sprays, and for 10 minutes it feels okay. But then the heat comes back. It starts as a tingle, then a burn, then a scream. I need you to listen very closely right now. If you have been dealing with an itch on your lower legs or ankles that hasn't gone away after 2 weeks of moisturizing, you do not have dry skin. You have a circulation emergency. What you are feeling is a warning siren from your body. A groundbreaking 2024 Stanford study analyzing over 5,000 adults found that nearly 60% of people misdiagnose this specific symptom as a dermatological issue, delaying critical treatment for years. They treat the surface while the engine underneath is failing. Think of your veins like the plumbing in an old historic house. When those pipes get rusty and start to leak, they drip water into the drywall. You can paint over the water stain on the wall as many times as you want, but unless you fix the pipe, the stain comes back, and eventually the wall collapses. Your veins are doing the exact same thing, but they aren't leaking water, they are leaking iron. They are leaking blood cells into your tissue. That itch is literally your body reacting to rust accumulating under your skin. Here's the scary part, and the reason I need you to stay with me until the very last second of this video. If you ignore this specific type of itch, you are heading for the red zone. I see this all the time. People think it's just a rash or winter skin. They wait. Then the skin turns dark, like a bruise that won't heal. It looks stained. Once that happens, the skin gets thin, delicate like wet tissue paper. One accidental scratch, one bump against the coffee table, one minor nick while shaving, and the skin breaks open. That is called a venous ulcer. These are open sores that can take 6 to 12 months to heal. They are painful, they are prone to infection, and they destroy your mobility. But right now, with just that itch, you are in the golden window. You can stop this. You can reverse the pressure before the skin breaks, but you have to stop treating the skin and start treating the flow. We are going to walk through the 5 critical steps to fixing this, counting down from the most common mistakes to the absolute most critical, life-saving safety check at number 1. You have to watch until the end, because the number 1 point involves a test you must do on yourself before you try any of the other advice, or you could risk cutting off blood supply to your foot entirely. It's a secret almost no one talks about, but it changes everything. Let's start with the foundation. Why are your legs screaming at you? Why does it feel like there are ants crawling inside your socks? We are told that skin gets dry and itchy as we age. That is true, but dry skin flakes. It looks like snow. This is different. This burns. This throbs. To fix it, you have to understand the machinery of your leg.
Inside your veins, you have tiny, delicate little valves. Think of them like one-way swinging doors or the flaps of a parachute. When your heart pumps, blood goes down to your toes. When you walk, that blood is supposed to swing those doors open, shoot back up to your heart against gravity, and then the doors snap shut to keep the blood from falling back down. But as we get older, or if we sit too much, or if we have carried weight for years, those hinges get rusty. The doors don't close all the way. They become incompetent. So blood shoots up, but then gravity pulls it right back down through the crack. It crashes back into the ankle. It is like a traffic jam on the highway, where no cars are moving, but more cars keep coming on the on-ramp. The blood pools. It has nowhere to go. It starts to push against the walls of the vein until fluid seeps out into the muscle and skin. That pressure is squeezing your nerves. Your nerves are being choked. They are screaming for oxygen, and your brain interprets that scream as an itch. This brings us to point number 5, the hidden salt trap and the water myth. There is a dangerous myth floating around that if you have swollen legs or ankles, you should stop drinking water. The logic seems sound to a layperson. I am holding water, I am like a sponge, so I shouldn't drink more or I will explode. That is false. In fact, research from the Journal of Renal Nutrition confirms that dehydration actually triggers the body to hoard fluid. When you are dehydrated, your body goes into panic mode. It thinks a drought is coming. It holds on to every single drop of sodium and water it can find. It locks that fluid into your tissues, specifically in your lower extremities where gravity pulls it. You need to drink water to flush the water, but water alone isn't enough if your pantry is working against you. You might think you eat healthy. You don't salt your food at the table. But the enemy isn't the salt shaker. It is the hidden salt. It is in the processed soup you have for lunch because it's easy. It is in the deli turkey you buy because you think it's a healthy protein. It is in the salad dressing. Sodium acts like a magnet. It binds to water and locks it into your ankles. You need a counteragent. You need to swap the sodium for potassium. Think of potassium as the key that unlocks the cells and lets the trapped water drain out. It releases the magnet. A simple banana, a sweet potato, or an avocado isn't just food. It is a drainage tool. This triggers a balance in what we call the sodium-potassium pump in your cells. If you don't have enough potassium, the pump breaks and the fluid stays trapped. However, I want you to try a specific swap starting tomorrow morning. Instead of your usual breakfast meat, bacon or sausage, which are sodium bombs, switch to something with zero sodium, like eggs or oatmeal, and add a potassium-rich fruit. Watch what happens to your ankles by 4 p.m. You will notice your socks aren't digging in as deep. But a critical warning, if you are on kidney medication or heart medication, always check with your doctor before drastically increasing potassium, as it can interact with certain drugs. Now, let's move to point number 4, the furniture betrayal. This is something you do every single day, and you think you are helping yourself, but you are actually making the rust worse. You get home, your legs are tired, they are heavy, you sit in your favorite recliner.
You pull the lever and the footrest pops up. You sigh in relief. You think you are resting, but look at the angle. Really look at it. In most recliners, your feet are elevated, yes, but they are usually still parallel with your hips, or even slightly below them depending on the sag of the cushion. Gravity is a relentless force. It does not sleep. If your feet are flat, gravity is still pulling blood down, or at best, keeping it stagnant. The swelling doesn't go away, it just slows down. You are maintaining the swamp in your ankles. The toxins, the iron, the fluid, it's all just sitting there, stewing. This is why your legs might feel okay when you wake up, because you've been flat in bed, but get progressively heavier and itchier as the day goes on. We have to fight gravity with physics. You need the toes above nose rule. For gravity to drain that fluid out of the sponge of your ankle and back into the deep veins of the thigh where it can be recycled, your feet need to be significantly higher than your heart. I know, it is not easy to sit like that while watching the news. It's not dignified to sit like that when guests are over. But you don't have to do it for hours. You need to use the 45-degree rule. Here is the protocol. Lie down on the couch. Put a stack of 3 sturdy pillows on the armrest. Not soft, squishy ones, but firm ones. Or lie on the floor and put your legs up on the seat of the couch or a chair. You want a steep angle. When you do this, you are literally tipping the bucket. You are allowing gravity to work for you instead of against you. You only need to do this for 15 minutes. That's it. 15 minutes a day can reset the pressure in your legs. Think of it as a drainage session. Do this right when you get home or before you start making dinner. Drain the old blood before you stand up to cook. You will feel a physical difference. Many of my clients tell me they feel a lightness return to their legs almost immediately. It's like taking off a heavy pair of boots that you didn't know you were wearing. This leads us directly into point number 3, the shower sabotage. This is a huge one, and almost nobody talks about it. When your legs itch, what is your natural reaction? What does your brain tell you to do? It tells you to put hot water on them. You step into the shower, you turn the dial to hot, and you let that water run over your itchy ankles. It feels amazing. It is almost euphoric. It numbs the itch for a few minutes. It feels like heaven. But you are making the problem 10 times worse. You are falling into a biological trap. Heat causes something called vasodilation. It makes your veins expand. Think of your veins like rubber bands. When they are cold, they are tight and snappy. When they are hot, they get loose, floppy, and wide. When you blast your legs with hot water, you are widening the roads, inviting more blood to rush into the area and more fluid to leak out. You are increasing the swelling. Furthermore, the heat strips the natural oils from your skin, making the surface dry and brittle, which makes the itch even worse once the water dries. It creates a vicious cycle. Itch, hot water, relief, more swelling, more itch. Here is the fix. It is called the shower shock. Take your normal shower, get clean, enjoy the warmth for your back and shoulders. But before you get out, turn the water to cool. Not freezing, just cool. Point the shower head at your lower legs for 30 seconds.
It will feel shocking at first, but visualize what is happening. That cool water is snapping those rubber bands tight. It is mechanically forcing the veins to constrict, pushing that stagnant blood up and out of the danger zone. It calms the inflamed nerves like an ice pack on a burn. Also, be careful with your soap. Harsh antibacterial soaps are designed to kill germs, but they also strip the natural oil barrier. If you have vein issues, your skin is already fragile. It is already under attack from the inside. Don't attack it from the outside, too. Use a gentle, creamy cleanser. Do not use a loofah or a scrub brush on your ankles. Treat that skin like it is a burn victim, because in a way, it is inflamed just like a burn. Now we are getting into the heavy hitters. Point number 2, the movement lie and the second heart. You might be thinking, I don't need to worry about this. I'm active. I'm on my feet all day. My circulation must be good. This is the movement lie. There is a massive difference between being on your feet and circulating blood. In fact, standing still is actually worse for your veins than walking. Think about the kitchen sink syndrome. You stand there for 20 minutes washing dishes, peeling potatoes, or chopping vegetables. You aren't moving your feet. You are just standing. During those 20 minutes, the column of blood in your leg is stagnant. The pressure is building and building. Gravity is pulling everything down, and nothing is pushing it up. Or maybe it's the line at the grocery store, or standing and talking to a neighbor at the mailbox. So how do we fight this? We have to turn on the second heart. Did you know you have a second heart? It is in your lower leg. It involves 2 muscles, the soleus and the gastrocnemius. These muscles are designed to grab that blood and shoot it back up to your chest. They are the pump. But here's the problem. As we age, we change how we walk. We start to shuffle. We take smaller steps to be safe. We don't push off our toes as much. When you shuffle, the calf muscle doesn't fully contract. The pump turns off. The blood sits there. We need to manually restart that engine. I want you to try this exercise right now, or the next time you are standing at the sink. It's called the countertop pump. Stand in front of your kitchen counter and hold on lightly for balance. Keep your knees straight but not locked. Now rise up onto your toes as high as you can. Imagine you are trying to see onto the top shelf of a cupboard. Hold it at the top for a full 2 seconds. 1, 2. Feel that burn in the back of your leg. That burn is the pump working. Then, and this is the secret sauce, lower your heels back down very, very slowly. Take 3 seconds to come down. Don't just drop. Control the descent. Do that 10 times. Stop if you feel any sharp pain, and always talk to a clinician if you have balance issues or joint trouble. But if you can do this, you are mechanically squeezing the sponge. You are forcing that old itchy blood out. And there is one more tiny habit I want you to build. It's called the alphabet ankle. Right before you go to sleep, when you are lying in bed, lift one foot slightly in the air. Pretend your big toe is a magic marker. I want you to write the entire alphabet, A through Z, in the air with your toe. Make the letters big, then switch legs. This moves your ankle through every possible range of motion. Up, down, left, right, diagonal.
It wrings out the sponge one last time before you sleep, so you don't wake up with that burning itch in the middle of the night. It signals to your body that the day is over, and it's time to drain. We have arrived at point number 1. This is the most critical section of this entire video. This is the information that can save your leg. We need to talk about the squeeze danger and the pulse check. When you have swelling and itching, your instinct, and the advice you will hear from almost everyone, including some well-meaning friends, is to rush out and buy tight compression socks. It makes sense, right? If the leg is a waterlogged sponge, squeeze the sponge to get the water out. Compression socks are fantastic. They act like an external muscle, squeezing the veins so the valves can close. They are the gold standard for venous insufficiency. But, and this is a massive but, there is a condition called PAD, peripheral arterial disease. This is the opposite of venous insufficiency. Venous insufficiency means blood can't get out of the leg. PAD means fresh blood can't get into the leg because the arteries are blocked with plaque. If you have PAD, your feet are starving for blood. They are desperate for oxygen. If you put a tight compression sock on a leg that is starving for blood, you are choking it. You are adding a tourniquet to a limb that is already dying of thirst. You could cut off the circulation completely. This can lead to non-healing wounds, necrosis, and in severe cases, gangrene. It is rare, but it happens, and you need to know if you are at risk. You must perform the pulse check before you ever put a compression sock on. Here is how you do it. Sit down in a quiet room. Take your shoe and sock off. Place your fingers lightly on the top of your foot, right in the middle or just behind the inside ankle bone. Don't press too hard or you will block the pulse. Just rest your fingers there. Wait, can you feel a faint tapping? That is your pedal pulse. Now look at your toes. Are the hairs on your toes gone? Is the skin shiny and tight? Touch them. Are they warm or are they ice cold? Finally, do the elevation test.
Lie down and lift your legs up high. If the bottom of your feet turn pale white instantly, like a sheet of paper, that is a warning sign. That is called pallor on elevation. It means gravity is draining the blood, and the arteries are too weak to pump it back up. If you cannot feel a pulse, if your feet are always freezing, or if they turn white when elevated, do not use compression socks without getting a scan from your doctor first. You need an ABI test, ankle brachial index. You need to know if you are dealing with a vein problem, too much fluid, or an artery problem, not enough fluid. They are opposites, and you treat them differently. But let's assume you have checked. Your pulse is strong, your feet stay pink, and you are cleared for compression. How do you use it correctly? Don't just buy the tightest sock you can find. You need graduated compression. This means the sock is tightest at the ankle and gets looser as it goes up the calf. This creates a funnel effect, directing blood upward. If the sock is tight at the top, near the knee, it acts like a rubber band and traps the blood below it. That is the tourniquet effect, and it is dangerous. Always put them on in the morning, before the swelling starts. If you wait until 5 p.m., the horse has already left the barn.
You are trying to squeeze a swollen log, and it will just be painful. Put them on when your legs are skinniest, and never, ever sleep in them, unless a doctor specifically tells you to. Your legs need to breathe at night. Let's go deeper into the why, because I want you to be the expert of your own body. When that fluid leaks out of your veins, it contains fibrinogen. This is a protein that helps blood clot. When it leaks into the tissue around your ankles, it forms a fibrin cuff around the tiny capillaries that feed your skin. Think of it like a layer of cement hardening around the roots of a plant. The roots, your capillaries, can't get water or nutrients to the plant, your skin. So the skin begins to suffocate. That itch you feel, that is the skin cells crying out for help before they die. That is why scratching doesn't help. You are scratching the surface, but the suffocation is happening deep down. The only way to break that cuff of cement is to reduce the swelling so the body can reabsorb it. That is why the elevation, the movement, and the compression are non-negotiable. You are not just stopping an itch, you are saving the skin from starvation. I also want to address the lotion loop. Many of you have a drawer full of creams, cortisone, antifungals, moisturizers. You apply them and the skin feels wet, but the itch remains. That is because most lotions sit on top. If you have venous eczema, that's the medical term for this itchy red skin. Your skin barrier is broken. You need a moisturizer that is pH balanced and free of fragrances. Fragrance is the #1 allergen. If your legs are already inflamed, a perfumed lotion is like throwing gasoline on a fire. Look for simple, boring ointments, petroleum jelly, dimethicone, or ceramide-based creams. These create a seal. They act like an artificial skin barrier, keeping moisture in and bacteria out. Apply them right after your cool shower shock, while your skin is slightly damp. This locks the hydration in. And let's talk about your shoes. This is a subtle point, but it matters. High heels are the enemy of the calf pump. When your foot is in a high heel, your calf muscle is permanently shortened. It can't stretch and contract fully. It's like trying to pump a handle that is stuck halfway down. But completely flat shoes with no support can also be an issue if you have flat feet, as it causes the ankle to roll inward, putting pressure on the veins. You want a low heel, maybe 1 inch, with good arch support. This puts the foot in the optimal position to rock from heel to toe, activating that second heart with every step. Let's review the battle plan, because information without action is useless. The itch is not dry skin, it is pressure. We are going to stop scratching and start pumping. 1. The diet shift. We are swapping the morning sausage for oatmeal and a banana to balance the sodium-potassium pump. We are drinking water to flush water. 2. The gravity reset. We are ignoring the recliner's false promise. We are doing the toes above nose elevation for 15 minutes a day, using the couch or the floor to drain the swamp. 3. The hydrotherapy. We are ending every shower with 30 seconds of cool water on the legs to snap those veins shut and calm the nerves. We are ditching the harsh soaps. 4. The mechanical pump. We are doing the countertop pump while washing dishes. Up on toes, slow down.
We are doing the alphabet ankle in bed to wring out the sponge. 5. The safety check. We are checking our pulse and the color of our feet before buying socks. If we are safe, we are using graduated compression, putting them on first thing in the morning. I want you to imagine 2 futures. In one future, you keep scratching. You buy more creams. You ignore the swelling. The skin gets darker, harder, and eventually it breaks. You spend months going to a wound care clinic, unable to walk your dog, unable to play with your grandkids, living in pain. In the other future, you take action tonight. You do the alphabet ankle. You drink a glass of water. You put your feet up. In 2 weeks, the itch subsides. The redness fades to a light pink. The swelling goes down, revealing the shape of your ankle again. You have the energy and the stability to carry groceries up the stairs without a second thought. You regain your freedom. The body is forgiving, but you have to speak its language. The language of the veins is flow. Give them flow, and they will give you your life back. There is one last thing. Sometimes, despite all this, the veins are just too damaged. The valves are blown out completely. In that case, you might need a medical procedure to close the bad vein. It is minimally invasive, takes 20 minutes, and is virtually painless. Do not be afraid to see a vascular specialist. They can use an ultrasound to see the leak in the wall that we talked about. But everything we discussed today, the pumping, the elevation, the diet, you have to do that anyway to keep the other veins healthy. Keep your engine running. Take care of those pipes. Your legs carry you through the world. It is time to carry them for a bit. If you found this helpful, share this with a friend who is always scratching their legs. You might just save them from a world of pain. Check out our other great video about the 3 foods that unclog arteries to help the other side of your circulation system. Tap that card on your screen right now, and I'll see you there.